Hey, what is up guys? This is Josh the Gamer here, coming at you with a brand new video. So today we're going to be continuing the Quorum Programming series. Yeah, I know it's been a while, but as I said in my Java tutorials that I uploaded recently, I've been pretty busy. I've had to deal with, mainly personal life stuff and school and all this other crap. So yeah, all this other stuff that comes before YouTube. So yeah. Anyways, today's Quorum tutorial is going to be about object-oriented programming and how Quorum handles objects. So essentially, object-oriented programming is a type of programming where you can create different classes and all this other stuff and create instances, which is a fancy word for object. You can create an instance of another class and then use those, and then use any actions or variables if they're properly set if they're public. You can use those variables using an object. But yeah, those can be used to set for, say, in a video game. If you want to get the player's X position or set the player's position, you can create an entity player class or something of that nature and create methods or actions to set the position of the player, get the position of the player, all that kind of stuff, and then you can call that within your main class. Now, I'll teach you exactly what a class is and what an action is in Quorum at a later date. However, all you need to know is that with classes and actions, they can be called, actions from separate classes can be called in any class by declaring an object. So say I wanted to create a random object, or say I wanted to, okay, how about this? Say I wanted to create a random number generator. I would need to use a random class. I would need to use an object for the random class, which in pretty much every programming language there is a random class, specifically for generating random numbers. Even though a lot of the time it doesn't seem very random, but that's beside the point. I can create a random object to to get or to call different properties or methods or actions, whatever you want to call them, from that random class, and I can use them without having any issues. It's pretty dang cool. Object-oriented programming is definitely a way for programmers to make better sense of their programs. It gives, the way I see it, it's just a whole lot easier than non-object oriented programming languages, because it makes it a lot harder when they're not object oriented, and it's overall and from what I've seen, a lot of the non-object oriented languages without objects, since they're not object oriented, it's very easy to turn code into spaghetti code if you don't know what you're doing. I mean, granted, with object-oriented programming, you can create spaghetti code as well, but objects make it less confusing because they tell you, okay, I'm calling this here or I'm calling that here, from this specific class and all this other stuff. It's really nice. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how, sorry about that, I'm going to go ahead and show you how Quorum handles these objects. So first off, I'm going to import the random class from Quorum. So I'm going to go use libraries dot compute dot random. Now see, this essentially allows us to import that random class into our main file here. So now let's go ahead and do, let's go random. That is an object in Quorum. It's pretty easy. However, with Java, if I wanted to do this, it would have to be random equals new random. But of course, that is not how Quorum handles objects. You do not need a semicolon. You do not need parentheses. You just need to create a class. You just need to call the class name and name that object. That's it. That's all you need to do. It's pretty simple. Now, if I really wanted to, I can go ahead and declare an integer. Let's say integer random number. And we're going to set it equal to random. And then we're going to go ahead and do a colon. As you can see, all of these different methods or actions from the random class appear, because this object allows me to access all these different methods from the class. So let's go ahead and say random integer between, and we're gonna go ahead and do, we're gonna make it a random integer between 1 and 100. And then we're gonna go ahead and output random number. Let's go ahead and run this. Let's see. Okay, run. As you can see, it generated a random number, specifically 98. However, if we were to run it again, it gives us a different number, because it's randomly generating a number between 1 and 100. And that is just by using one object in the language. It's actually pretty neat. You can use objects for much more things than just a random class. Like I've explained, you can create objects of custom user-made classes. You can, there's also other built-in classes in Quorum that you're going to be using objects with, such as games. Games are a huge thing when it comes to creating objects, because you're going to be using external classes and classes within the libraries itself to create that game. Objects just makes it a whole lot easier to do said game. So yeah, that pretty much does it for this tutorial, guys. I will, let's see, what is my next tutorial? I believe the next tutorial is on Lexar scoping. I could be wrong. I need to check my list again. But yeah, hope you guys liked this video, and we will see you all in the next one.